Welcome back to Deep Space Solo, your stop for atmospheric sci-fi horror tabletop gaming. Today, we will be playing ORC BORG, following the story of Lil Mogg, an orc who is haunted by an alien monstrosity invading his derelict home. Lil Mogg's a tough guy. He fights in the arenas, and you can see here he's ripping the tentacle off some creature in the pits. It happened all of a sudden. Lil Mogg, fighting in the pits, hears a shrieking, grinding sound, and the lights go out. He hears the howls of orcs around him, combined with the unnatural shrill of something he hadn't heard before. Lil Mogg is stabbed and gutted in the darkness. He wakes a few hours later. The arena is quiet, with dead orc bodies gored around him. The only light, a slight red emergency-generated light. Today we're going to be playing with Mythic Game Master Emulator as our Oracle. We will be following these threads and see if we can figure out what's going on in this situation and maybe keep ourselves alive in the meantime. We're rolling for the scene, and it was interrupted. We'll use the current context to determine the scene and then create an interruption to adjust that. Lil Mogg stumbles out of the arena as the corridors are now twisted within this part of the derelict. Black soot covers the exposed wiring twisted underneath his feet. There's something strange in front of him. He sees a maze of cables that meet at a pedestal in the center of the room, raised as an altar to a forbidden god. There's a groaning noise as the wiring shifts beneath his feet, and he has the sense of an encroachment. Is this going to be an encounter? I think so. Let's see what the creature wants. We'll roll a 2d6. 3 plus 2 is 5. There's what appears to be a shambling mound coming towards him. It's exposed with oozing pustules all over itself. And looking at it, Lil Mogg sees that this is one of the beasts from the arena, but it's been horribly infected by something. He also realizes that there's some kind of smell that he's noticing. It's making him really sick, and he's got to get out of here. Let's roll for the next scene. As he proceeds through this twisted area, he enters an open cavern flooded with organic sludge. The massive stem cells within the sludge bubbles as Lil Mogg wades through it. The sludge seems to have some sort of alien quality, so let's ask the Oracle. Is the sludge alien and or alive in some way? 14. Yes. As Lil Mogg wades into the sludge, it begins to harden into what feels like flesh and latches onto him with each step. Lil Mogg is going to have to rip through this flesh to continue on. So let's test his strength. 20. Perfectly, angrily, Lil Mogg rips as he moves forward and hears not quite a wail, but a sort of hissing anger within the sludge as he rips through it and continues forward. Let's check out the next scene. The scene is as expected. Lil Mogg continues and notices that he is entering into this alien craft that appears to have crashed into the derelict. The area is cavernous. There is the sense of it being a gaping sort of maw inviting its prey. He couldn't see the ceiling or the walls. He's used to having solid metal overhead, so this space seeming to go on forever made him feel like he was no longer inside a ship at all. The steel at the bottom of this cavern is surprisingly clean. Looking about, Lil Mogg sees swarms of nanobots from within the derelict on a sterilization protocol as they've invaded this part of the ship. Their chittering drone echoes in his ear. The question is, number one, do these nanobots antagonize him? Let's see what their reaction roll is. 4 plus 2 is 6. They're not interested in his more amorphous flesh as opposed to the amorphous sludge that's been creeping into this room. So he's able to stay away from them for now. But he starts to hear a breathing noise. And it's similar, it's the same breathing that he heard behind him in the pits when the lights went out. And the creature from the alien craft entered into his home. Is it nearby? Let's ask the Oracle. $13. Lil Mogg, looking up into the blackness of the cavern, has the sense that there are eyes watching him back from the cavern. And Lil Mogg, for the first time in his life, is feeling some fear. Let's test his presence. 18. I think this test would be pretty difficult. So we'll say really hard. But Lil Mogg is able to contain his fear and move forward. Now, what's the next scene? The scene is altered. I think at this point, Lil Mogg is approaching what should be the source, the lair of this creature. It's unclear what kind of ship this is. There's both metal and organic parts. There's some story here. Maybe this creature had previously invaded this ship and taken it over. But he is approaching a glass door at the far end of the cavern. He walks up to it, and Is he able to break it apart? I think this is pretty easy. Let's see if he can. It's going to be a strength roll. Lil Mogg smashes through the glass, and there's a hiss as pressurized air comes out through the glass. He's in some sort of living quarters, and it appears strangely humanoid. This reminds Lil Mogg of the spacers that crashed into the derelict some 10 years ago. They're little soft beds and little blinking screens trying to keep them safe in space, which, of course, was silly. We were just waiting for the apocalypse. Why would we want to be comfortable? We should be smashing. At the end of the living quarters, there sits a humanoid figure, back turned, and is facing a large digital interface, which is blinking with a 5. The interface blinks again and ticks down to a 4. And that humanoid figure begins to turn its head. And Lil Mogg sees an abomination in front of him. It's part human, part orc, part metal, and it doesn't look like anything he's seen before. Lil Mogg has to roll a presence check. 14. It is nearly impossible for Lil Mogg to not feel fear in this case. Is the creature hostile? I think so. The creature within its humanoid body starts exposing clawed tentacles that just rip out of its body, and its size as it approaches Lil Mogg gets bigger and bigger until it dwarfs the sizable Lil Mogg, and it is very hostile. Lil Mogg feels his guts falling out and has little hope of surviving this monster. But the creature is going to let out a war bellow. Lil Mogg is. Lil Mogg is going to get 1 more HP, going up to 7. He is wounded, so he sends out a scream. Let's test initiative. 8. He does not meet the DR 12. He is going to have to dodge using his agility. He fumbles. He takes double damage, and his armor is reduced by 1 die step. He doesn't have any armor. So, how much damage does he take? This creature, let's see. We'll just roll for how much damage this creature does. Just a d6. Lil Mogg takes 4 damage, so his HP goes down to 3. His arm is sliced off by the creature's tentacles, and Lil Mogg has to turn to run. Can he get away? We're going to roll an agility check. 19. Without the arm, he has -2 strength, but his agility is untouched. And with that 19, Lil Mogg gets up with his gore and begins sprinting back out into the cavern. The creature hisses and attempts to attack again. So it's going to run at Lil Mogg. and Lil Mogg is testing his agility. That's not enough. Lil Mogg is going to take damage. He's going to take 2 more damage, putting him down to 1 HP. Now, we're going to put it all on the line here. Let's see, can Lil Mogg do some damage to this creature? Let's test strength. Lil Mogg drops his smasher and falls to the ground as the creature begins stabbing into his body. And that is the end of our big buddy Lil Mogg. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys thought about this format. I think ORC BORG is really great from a narrative perspective because the rules are so easy, and it's very simple to add Mythic on top of it. So let me know what you think, and if there's other games that you want me to play in the future, I'll be excited to. We will be getting back to our Across 8,000 Dead Worlds game as well, so stay tuned. Alright, Deep Space out.